one crow there. Kind of ground a minute ago munching on that cat food. I don't know what's up on that wall he's munching on there, he or she. We'll go back down there for some more cat food, I guess, or go up in the trees. I think he's trying to figure out what it looks like. There's another one joining them there. Watching a YouTube video where someone had, I think it's happened by accident, but they had a crow. They tried to add a parrot or some bird that normally you teach to speak, but this crow had picked up on it. I think it's a crow that somebody had actually taken out of the wild and raised, thinking it was, but it, anyway, they taught to speak, but it was used to people, so they couldn't let it go back in the wild, but that guy flew off. I was watching just a minute of Mr. Carlson's lab, another electronics one. He's got a wire recorder. Most people here probably aren't going to have the slightest idea what that is, but you know, before LP records, before vinyl tape, this quarter-inch reel-to-reel tape. I met with that a lot as a kid, you know, reel-to-reel tape, but I've got a couple of machines. Sometimes I need to see if I can get them to work. I've got a whole box of tapes I got auctioned probably 30, 40 years ago. They were labeled with music on them. You know, they're the 7-inch reels. And, I had to explain to my daughter what that is sometimes. So if her and some of my friends are going through my stuff after I traded the physical Earth plane for the astral plane, trying to figure out what the hell some of my stuff is. I'll have I included them in some of my videos so they have some idea what that is. But Mr. Carlson is going through you're going to have to, an old vacuum tube amplifier, which that wire, I said before they used other mediums, before we had the internet and MP3s and all that, but the wire doesn't have the quality that the other mediums do. But years ago, I'd gotten one. I don't think it's a complete mechanism. I think it was only the wire mechanism itself. I think the amplifier was a separate unit, but I don't think I ever did anything with it. But it did have one spool of wire on there, but it was some type of voice recorder off of an aircraft or something. I think that's what it was. But I'd bought it from a Fair Radio Sales in Lima, Ohio, that sold a lot of stuff like that. They're still around. They're on the internet. If you type Fair Radio Sales, they were a year or so ago last time I checked, but you need to use electronic stuff like that, but they were pricey. They knew what they had, they knew what they'd get for it. So if you go to them, you know, be prepared to pay fair market value, more or less. I was watching one of the comments on one of my videos was actually, I started out with the Save It for Parts guy. His stuff is not flat Earth, but so I guess some of them would periodically comment on his videos about flat Earth, and I just don't get these people that said the Earth is flat, because I can't. The image from like Apollo 8, and it's like 68 or 69, but I just remember the astronaut recorder said when he recorded it was no big deal. He just looking back to Earth and said, "Hey, that's a pretty blue marble," and that's became world famous. That image from. We also recorded a few Bible verses because it was around Christmas time. I guess it was like around Christmas time in 1968, but he said, talk about the good earth, which is a quote from the Bible. But I can't. I'd be interested to try to get a discussion with somebody that thinks the earth is flat and just get some of their logic. Now, the main thing I want to get to is the dream that I had. Well, as soon as I finish here, I'm going to download a few videos. I'm going to head over and I got to get to a restaurant, blow the condensers out, a bunch of equipment. I got to meet somebody there before the cooks get there and get all the food and stuff out. I got about an hour before that. But the main thing I want to cover is I had the weirdest dream. I was with another female YouTuber. It's not the chick that you would think that she might think it was. It was another one. And I'm not going to identify her. But let's just say she's an interesting cutie pie. Closer to my age than the other chick is, but somehow she was charging a lead acid car battery. Now it's a top post battery. I'm going to mention that because something shorted inside the battery and one of the posts burned off. Yeah, that's a weird dream. I try to think, well, how can I save this battery? How can I reuse this battery? But at that point, it's pretty much junk. But dreams don't have to make sense. Okay, I think that one chick may figure out who she is, but it's not who you might think. Okay, love ya. Bye bye.